What if I told you that the biggest moments on Rush's new 50-something tour aren't the ones everyone is talking about? They're the tiny details hidden in plain sight, moments that quietly reveal how Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson are honoring Neil Peart without ever trying to replace him. Miss these clues and you miss the real story. When Rush returned to the stage in 2026, it wasn't marketed as a reunion in the traditional sense. Geddy Lee made it clear that this was a celebration of more than 50 years of Rush's music and a tribute to their late friend and bandmate Neil Peart, whom he called irreplaceable. That's why the band introduced German drummer Anika Nilles not as a replacement, but as another chapter in Rush's story. But here's what many fans didn't notice. The tour opens with Xanadu, a song Rush had never used as a concert opener before. That wasn't just a creative choice. It immediately signals that this isn't a nostalgia act repeating the past. It's a new journey built on the band's legacy. Even the expanded lineup, including keyboardist Lauren Gold, allows Geddy and Alex to focus more freely on performing while faithfully recreating the band's classic sound. And that's only the beginning. Because once the lights go down and the videos start rolling, Rush begins hiding emotional messages throughout the show, details that most fans don't catch until they watch the performance a second, or even a third time. As the concert settles into its rhythm, something remarkable begins to happen. The show isn't just driven by music, it's filled with subtle visual storytelling. If you're focused only on the songs, you'll likely miss the deeper message unfolding behind the band. Throughout the tour, Rush uses carefully produced video interludes and stage visuals that celebrate the band's history without pretending the past can be recreated. Instead of trying to erase Neil Peart's absence, the production acknowledges it with dignity. Archival imagery, references to the band's decades-long journey, and emotional transitions remind audiences that Rush's story has always been about three musicians who grew together over a lifetime. That approach also explains why Anika Nilles never attempts to imitate Neil note for note. In interviews leading up to the tour, she explained that her goal was to honor his compositions while bringing her own musicianship to the performance. Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson supported that philosophy from the beginning, emphasizing that no one can truly replace Neil Peart, only respect what he created. The audience response reflects that understanding. Many longtime fans have described the performances as surprisingly emotional, not because Rush is trying to recreate the past, but because they're celebrating it honestly. But perhaps the most overlooked detail isn't on the video screens at all. It's happening between the musicians themselves, and the quiet interactions on stage reveal a story that words alone never could. If you watch closely, you'll notice something that no stage production can fake: trust. Throughout the 50-something tour, Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson regularly exchange smiles, quick glances, and subtle cues with Anika Nilles. These aren't dramatic, scripted moments designed for the cameras. They're the natural communication that happens between musicians performing demanding material live. Rush's songs are filled with complex time signatures, dynamic changes, and intricate arrangements, making that silent communication essential. One of the biggest details many fans overlook is how often Geddy turns toward Anika during difficult transitions. It's not because she's struggling. It's because Rush has always relied on eye contact and musical cues to stay perfectly locked together on stage. The same chemistry that once existed between Geddy, Alex, and Neil is now being rebuilt in a new way, through rehearsal, respect, and countless hours of preparation. Alex Lifeson also appears noticeably more relaxed as the tour progresses. With Lauren Gold handling additional keyboard parts, Alex has more freedom to focus on his guitar performance and connect with both the audience and his bandmates. Those interactions create an atmosphere that feels less like a replacement lineup and more like a group of musicians celebrating Rush's catalog together. And then there's another hidden detail that many fans miss completely. It isn't a song or a visual effect. It's the carefully crafted setlist itself, and the order of the songs may reveal an emotional story that unfolds from beginning to end. At first glance, Rush's 50-something tour setlist looks like a celebration of classic songs. But listen more carefully, and a different picture begins to emerge. The sequence of the music feels less like a random collection of hits and more like a journey through the band's entire career. Opening with Xanadu immediately catches longtime fans off guard. Rather than starting with an obvious anthem like Tom Sawyer or The Spirit of Radio, Rush begins with a sprawling progressive epic. It's a bold statement that says this tour isn't about taking the easiest path, it's about honoring the music that defined the band's identity. As the show unfolds, the setlist moves through different eras of Rush, balancing progressive masterpieces with radio favorites. Songs from the 1970s, 80s, and later years are woven together, reminding fans how the band continually evolved instead of repeating the same formula. That evolution has always been one of Rush's defining strengths. Then comes another subtle detail. Rather than placing every biggest hit at the beginning, The performance builds steadily, creating emotional peaks that keep the audience invested until the final moments. It's a pacing strategy that mirrors Rush's classic albums, where every song contributes to a larger experience instead of existing on its own. But perhaps the most emotional hidden detail isn't in the music at all. It's found in the crowd, and the fans themselves became an unforgettable part of the story. One of the most powerful details of Rush's 50-something tour isn't on the stage, it's in the audience. Look around during the quieter moments, and you'll see generations of fans standing side by side. Some witnessed Rush in the 1970s and 80s, others are seeing the band perform for the very first time. Parents introduce their children to the music they grew up with, while longtime friends relive memories built over decades. That mix of generations has become one of the defining images of the tour. Another detail that's easy to miss is how often the crowd takes over. During the biggest songs, thousands of voices sing together, creating moments where Geddy Lee can simply step back and let the audience carry the lyrics. It's a reminder that these songs no longer belong only to the band, they've become part of the lives of millions of fans around the world. The emotional connection grows even stronger, because everyone in the arena understands the same truth. Neil Peart's absence is deeply felt, yet instead of mourning what can never return, the audience celebrates the music he helped create. Every standing ovation becomes more than applause. It becomes a thank you for over 5 decades of unforgettable songs and performances. By the end of the night, one thing is impossible to ignore. The hidden details weren't really hidden at all. They were woven into every note, every smile, and every shared memory. When the final notes ring out and the lights begin to fade, the biggest revelation of Rush's 50-something tour becomes impossible to miss. This tour was never about proving that Rush could replace Neil Peart. From the very beginning, Geddy Lee and Lifeson made it clear that Neil was irreplaceable. Instead of trying to recreate the past, they chose to celebrate it, with honesty, gratitude, and a deep respect for the music the three of them built together over more than 5 decades. That's why the hidden details matter so much. The thoughtful setlist, the emotional stage visuals, the quiet moments of communication between the musicians, the audience singing every word, and Anika Nilles' commitment to honoring Neil's legendary drum parts while performing them in her own authentic style. None of these moments demand attention, but together they tell the real story of the tour. Perhaps that's Rush's greatest achievement. They've shown that preserving a legacy doesn't mean freezing it in time. It means carrying its spirit forward, without forgetting the people who made it possible. As fans leave each arena, they aren't just talking about incredible performances or technical musicianship. They're talking about how the concert made them feel. That's something no special effect, no elaborate production, and no perfect performance can manufacture. Maybe that's the hidden detail everyone missed. The 50-something tour isn't simply another chapter in Rush's history. It's a heartfelt celebration of friendship, resilience, and the timeless music that continues to unite generations of fans. And in that sense, Neil Peart remains part of every single show. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Rush's 50-something tour, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments what hidden moment stood out to you the most. Until next time, keep the music alive.